All right, thank you everybody for joining us for another session of Bayyinah and Friends. Today is October 1st, 2020, the year of clear vision. So thank you for taking time out of your day today to join us. We're gonna have another great session. And I believe our Queen Mother is here, logged on. So I'm going to pass it her way. Welcome, Professor Bayyinah Bello.
Jumbo, Alafia, Hotep, how are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Excellent. Oops, my thing is.
I think I hear Bel Gasson in the background. Is that him?
That's right. Bel Gasson is back home. And he wants you all to know that he is back in charge of the yard. So, welcome everyone to Bayyinah and Friends. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the regularity, the continuity. Thank you very, very, very much for all the support. Today, we're going to do, as we usually do, start with our breathing exercise. And I hope the last time you did that was not last Thursday. If it's last Thursday, we're not progressing, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Because we're supposed to be very mindful of our breath intake, particularly mindful these days that we're wearing masks. So we must exercise the deep breathing daily, ideally morning and evening, and every time before we put the mask on, after we take the mask off. It's really very important. From what we understand, that wearing that mask is going to create some other health problems for us if we don't take care of business now. So we have to be very, very serious and attentive about our mask, our breathing. So let's sit up straight, get our back nice and straight, the vertebrae nicely aligned, feet on the ground, hands on the knees, and you should be improving. That means when we first started, I would say breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now I say breathe in, breathe out. That means you have to take longer and deeper breath, okay? So we're supposed to improve how we breathe so we can protect ourselves. Also remember, use the eucalyptus oil. Put it on the mask, put some around you, on your hands, around the nose. You know, it helps with clearing, keeping the lungs clear from all the stuff you're supposed to throw out. You're not breathing it in. So we really desperately need to protect ourselves. We have to. The breath is it. We can't get away from it. So back straight, feet flat on the ground, hands on the knees, and we breathe in, hold, breathe out, relax. 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 Thank you. Please, please love yourself and do some deep breathing exercise several times a day. The more you wear that mask, the more you need to practice clearing out your lungs and using that eucalyptus. If the opportunity presents itself, it's also good to burn the eucalyptus leaves. The smoke from the eucalyptus has good clearing effect for the air as well, especially if it's fresh, from the air as well as, clearing effect on the air as well as the lungs. Okay, so now that we have our breath work done, let's get to our mind work, freedom. We have to get freedom set in our mind. We have to understand that is the vital purpose to anything. If we're not free, forget it. What are we doing here? So we're going to go through the poem, Freedom, and look at how our ancestor, Amunhotep, was inspired to have us reflect on what is freedom and how to stay free. That would be the step one for today. So let's get to our reading. How about France, you start?
Freedom. Our first mistake was that we thought of freedom as a place rather than a continuation of a struggle.
Tyranny never sleeps. Kwesi?
Our second mistake was that we thought of freedom as a goal rather than as a launching pad from which to reach our goals.
Wajid? Wajid Outset? Am I?
Oh, without purposes, freedom hardly matters.
Excellent. This is a mistake. I've been meaning to tell you to correct. Without purpose. Okay.
Without purpose. Okay. Sorry.
Yes. That's okay. That's not your fault. It's mine. Go ahead. So without purpose, freedom hardly matters.
Okay. Without purpose, freedom hardly matters.
Thank you. Our third mistake was that we thought that freedom would make us free. That, however, is license, not freedom at all. Franz?
Freedom is being shackled to identity, purpose, and direction, and being in constant pursuit.
Okay. So Wajid, what grabs you today about freedom?
Without purpose, well, all of it really hits hard, honestly. But especially tyranny never sleeps. I recently had to bring myself back to my freedom, honestly. So it's had to remind myself of my purpose here in this realm. So yes. Mm-hmm. And it feels great to be back and to see you, my Bello, and France, and everybody.
Thank you, and we're happy to see you also.
Yes,
so, without purpose, freedom hardly matters. What does that mean to you?
means, well, to me, it means like that's like without your breath, without your reason for being here. You know what, you have no direction, you're just building somebody else's purpose. You're just, feeding into their idea and feeding into their freedom while you remain unknowingly shackled.
Excellent.
So,
Mm-hmm. Um, that's why regularly we should stop ourselves from. You see, there is the freedom of doing, and then you have the freedom of not doing. See, do you have enough control to use both? You see, when if we take Rosa Parks, King, and our ancestors, those ancestors, when they decided, for example, not to use the bus, so they used their freedom not to do, to get something to change. Okay, they decided and not using the bus, and that means I have to walk to everywhere I'm going. And walking is excellent for the body, so I'm gaining a whole bunch of benefit from my decision not to. But it's also not to give them my money, these people who don't like me. So then I'm also becoming richer, because whatever I would have spent going to the bus, using the bus, or going to their stores or whatever, it stays in my pocket. And I'm going to decide when I'm going to use it and for what purpose. So every time we decide to do or decide not to do, we should be clear. It shouldn't happen. It should be a decision. I decide that this week I'm not eating. Okay? Why? I have to explain to Bayyinah why you're not eating this week. Well, my friend so-and-so is fasting, so I'm fasting too. That's useless. Your friend is fasting. Your friend knows why they're fasting. They have a purpose. And you're just being a copycat. So you're doing nothing. Even if you lose 20 pounds and your friend lose 2 pounds, your friend has been more purposeful than yourself. Because after losing those pounds, you're gonna say, oh my goodness, look what happened to me. Because you did not plan to lose any weight. You just wanted to do what your friend was doing. You see? So that's why very often we do something, and then when the result comes in, we are just as unsatisfied as when we first started. Because the purpose was not clear. We didn't establish a purpose. So always have a purpose. Why you do and why you don't do must be clearly established, and what you expect from this action or the non-action. Okay, so always the purpose is key. Now, our third mistake was that we thought that freedom would make us free. Freedom doesn't make people free. Give me an example of that. Freedom that doesn't make you free.
In America, our government, our society always says we're free. We're free to do and form all kinds of crazy ideas and follow practices that are put out there for us. We don't question them. We change outfits. We change hairstyles. We change our diet. We'll pick up one fad after another, and we are tricked into believing that we are free to make these choices, but they're not our choices. They're put out there through the media. So we are being misguided rather than really being free to choose wisely.
Yes. And how do we know what you say is true? Well, when we choose to do something that's not in the choices they have given to us, something that's totally not there, then we see their reactions. See? They are not. You know, it makes me laugh a little with this whole thing, everybody going with masks and covering their faces. There was so, the past 5 to 10 years, they've been so much against all people whose culture required a face covering, right? Oh no, this is not acceptable. You don't know who they are. They must, they must this, they must that. Hey, guess what? Now you saying everybody got to cover their nose and mouth. See? And most of us don't even see these things. Same thing, me as someone who's usually have a head wrap. And I know that when I'm going through airports in various areas, I always have to be ready to go through hell and back a few times before I can go through. You know? And if I don't feel like being bothered with them, I just don't wear the head wrap. And I see the difference, how I go through. Well, now we're looking at them. They're not far from wearing head wraps too. Okay? So we have to be observant. We have to be observant. We have to analyze things. So we thought freedom made us free. Just the word freedom don't make you free. Or because somebody tells you, I give you freedom, that you have to be afraid of. It's never given. The only way you have it is when you take it. And we can look at all those so-called independence. All of us were dancing, independence, da-da, yeah, Nigeria is independent, da-da-da is independent, this one is independent. But what's the reality? When we look at the facts, if you go read the Nigerian Independence Charter, you will find out that the UK decided that Nigeria would be independent, but the UK would keep the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Wealth, Petrol, under all the underground resources, finance, and education. So they have all the money. Money is in the hands of the colonizers. Justice is in the hand of colonizers. All the wealth, okay, that's the money. Wealth is in the hand of colonizers. Justice in the hand of colonizers. Education, what's gonna go into your children's head, how they're going to view the world, is in the hand of colonizers. How free is Nigeria? Okay, so, but everybody danced. Nigeria is independent now. And sure enough, even with all these constraints, they managed to have Nigeria split into this Biafra war, because some of the wealth they had not identified was someplace else. So British had to get a hold of that too. So they encouraged the group where the wealth was to go to war against the nation. So they went into a civil war barely 10 years after independence. Okay. So these are things that are plans, people who think, people who analyze. So you must not put yourself in a position that you're not thinking, you're not observing, you're not analyzing. Remember, freedom is a very delicate thing. It's a very volatile. It comes and it goes. You have it before you go to bed at night, you might wake up handcuffed the next morning. So you have to constantly be watchful, be mindful, so that you can be sure that the freedom you had last night is with you when you wake up in the morning. We'll take 3 more comments. Who would like to comment on freedom today?
I would, if I may. So if freedom is being shackled to identity, it would be impossible to be free if you aren't in your correct identity in the illusion or spirit of somebody else and other people. So if we are in a position where we have the right to do this and do that, once you recognize who you are and you do things for your own interest, you'll realize that you don't have that freedom at all, because they will try to take it away from you and stop you at all costs. So I would say that not being in your right spirit, your right consciousness of who you are as a Black African person, and in the spirit of a whole nother culture, that would be more of a lease of freedom, because you're doing and acting out in accordance to what their wishes are for you. But once you understand who you are and you act in your own interests and the own interests of your people, you'll realize that they will stop and try to end that freedom immediately. So it's impossible to actually be free and not be shackled to identity and knowing who you are. You aren't keeping yourself, so you can't be free.
Absolutely. See, the snake has no desire to fly or to swim. It knows who it is, and it does what normally snakes do. And it wants to get better and better at it, not get into something else or produce fruits. It's not interested in that. It's not a tree. Okay. So once you know who you are, then it's easier for you. That's the only time you can set objectives. Without the knowledge of self, without your identity, you'll just be doing, I want to be the best opera singer in the world. Whereas I am maybe naturally a great jazz singer or a great voodoo singer or whatever it is that I'm great at. I'm putting it aside and going after something that's not me. And that's what we have to, that's what happens when you don't have your identity, when you're not clear about who you are. Second comment on freedom. Thank you, Byron.
The freedom being in constant pursuit requires a great deal of mental and physical stamina and fortitude. Constant is self-defining. It means every minute of every day you are in pursuit of an aspect of your freedom. So you have to be very, very strong.
Absolutely. Yes, we have to be, first of all, we have to understand, if I remained with the mentality and the aspirations of the Bayyinah, 20-year-old Bayyinah, I'd be pretty ridiculous today at 72. Because everything about my life has changed. I have to assume, accept, and plan from there, from my reality, not plan from, trying to be something that I'm not, or that I used to be. All right. So yes, in constant pursuit. And it is with this concept of constant pursuit that improvement comes, that betterment comes. Betterment that is in our own interests, of course. So we go for the third one, the last comment on freedom. Thank you, Jade and Wahid Abdullah. Oh, that's Jade. Faye, I'm sorry. Yes, Faye.
Thank you.
Even if I don't see your face, I still know it's Faye. All right, third comment, please, on freedom.
Good afternoon, all. It's Marjorie. To me, freedom, it has to do with constantly pursuing who you are as an individual. And at times you will think that you will fail and that you will fail, right? But you have to keep pursuing. If you have a goal, just like you say, without purpose, freedom hardly matters. So if you have a goal, it may take 1 year, 2 years, even 10 years. But if you're persistent at what you know that you will accomplish, you will be free and you will achieve that freedom.
Absolutely. And we can use a personal example this year with Fondation Félicité. Fondation Félicité has been celebrating Dessalines' birthday for 21 years now. Really struggling to do it. The first birthday, we had barely maybe 10 or 12 people who came. And then we reached birthdays where 3,000 people came, the guests came to celebrate. 5 years ago, the government of Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador starting to salute Dessalines on September 20th, day of his birthday. Over here, we send letters, we don't even get response. So we don't know if the letters ever get there, but we do know that they do, but that's all right. And so this year, there was a small victory. For whatever reason, the government decided that from this day on, they will call September 20th Dessalines Day. So it took us 21 years of constant working to get, it's not even declared Dessalines' birthday or, establish it as a holiday. No, we're not there yet. It's just declared that September 20th will be known in Haiti as Dessalines' birthday. Well, fine. We'll take that for now. But the fight goes on. Maybe we have to do another 21 birthdays before before it gets better. But we will get there, surely. Thank you. All right. So now we'll stop and do our duty towards Fondation Félicité. It will be also the opportunity to say thank you to all those who helped us to celebrate last week, all the volunteers who did a lot of hard work to realize, to put that birthday together. So to all of our volunteers, in particular, Jerry, Ghislaine, Jessica, Kathy, quite a few young ladies, young men, took time out of whatever they had to do for themselves and invested into that. And this week, they're all busy preparing King Henry's birthday. So, but before we go there, let's go to how to keep in touch with Fondation Félicité. Thank you. Fondation Marie-Claire Rose Félicité Bonheur Dessalines on Facebook. On Instagram, Fondation Félicité. On the official Bayyinah Bello channel, there's a team working hard to really put things together, to brand things, to create all the stuff we need. I think you're gonna be quite happy when we do have the grand opening of official Bayyinah Bello YouTube channel. If you want to contact us on WhatsApp, it's 509-2940-0869. You might want to just call to say to the volunteers, to say a little thank you, encouragement, tell them, they're not alone. They're working hard over here, but you guys are working hard over where you are. The website is www.fondationfelicite.com. And for those who want to contribute, to donate on PayPal, pourfondationfelicite@gmail.com. Those are the ways that we can stay in touch. And thank you again to all those who have.
All right, looks like we lost your connection, even though it still says you're here. Let's see. Can you hear us, Ma Bello? I mean, Professor Bello? Right. Let me see what's going on, guys. Oh, she dropped. All right, she dropped, but she'll be back soon. She usually...
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. That was cool.
I am right here.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have something else you wanted to share with our audience?
Oh no, your your screen just blacked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
You're welcome.
so we can continue. Let's take a look at that guy with his back all marked up that we often view here. But let's take a little time. Okay, anyway, even if we don't have it in front of our eyes, I think all of you have it in your minds, right?
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'll have it up soon.
No, no problem. So we have it in our minds, right? Just think, once upon a time, any one of us could have our back just that way. Female, male, children, elders, it didn't matter. As we had absolutely no say. And yet,
Is it just me or is Professor Bello freezing?
She's frozen.
Oh, okay.
She goes frozen.
All right. Okay. All right. So it looks like she is frozen, but she will be back in a few seconds.
okay,
There she is.
here she is.
There she is.
Okay. So I don't know how much you heard before. I said Desaline's back was that way. Frederick Douglass' back was that way. Anyone that they would tie up on a tree and then beat your back up times and times over and over again. So even though some of them had a law that says they couldn't give you more than 50 strikes at one time, well, they could give you 50 in the morning and give you 50 in the afternoon and 50 at night. That was within the law. That very generous and just law. Okay. Cutting our head, cutting our, castrate our men was within the law. It's all right. So we're going to move on to the charter, the Mundane Charter. I have no doubt that everyone has that picture in their minds. So, what is the Mundane Charter? Mundane is an empire. Most of it is like part of actual Mali, the Malian Republic. And the text we're going to look at was in 1221. Of course, one thing they do with all of our information, you'll find some people say it's 1222, it's 1224, it's 1227. We don't really care. We can even, resume all this by saying, well, in the 12th century, okay? So we're not gonna get into arguments whether it was 22, 23, 25, 26. Don't get into useless arguments like this. What is important for us is that it's a text that we produced. It is a text that we did, and it is about freedom. It is about forbidden slavery. It is about how we should look at each other and how we should behave toward one another. That is what matters. We're not going to waste our time talking about 1222, 1224, 27. We really don't care. Okay. So Sundiata Keita is the Mundane emperor who pronounced this text. But as the text says clearly, the hunters have declared. So the emperor is not the final authority. The authority, the emperor is like the mouthpiece. He is speaking on behalf of the hunters. And the hunters are the highly spiritual warriors who protect the nation. So they are the ones whose opinion matters. They're the ones to enforce the law. So let me see if I can get my, oh no, I can't do anything right now because Funds has the screen. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I put the text up on my side, but people only saw a blank screen, so I'm working on it shortly.
Okay. All right. Let me just get. All right. Okay, I have my text. The #1 article here says, respect for life. All human life is a life. It is true that a life may appear into existence before another, but a life is neither older nor more respectable than another. As such, one life is not worth more than another life. How do you understand that?
Ma Bello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I understand that is that all life is created equal under God's creation, and that we can't privilege the importance of one life over another, including our own over another life. Meaning, my life is not more important than the life of a banyan tree or a butterfly or another human being that I don't like.
Exactly. Yes. So do you see how we begin to talk about freedom in our own way? We went into the cosmos, and the decree says every life is equal one to the other. I don't have more right to cut down a tree or kill any other life form for no reason. Okay? So it's very different. Have you guys ever read the Declaration of Human Rights that they make so much about? It does not come up to the ankle of that text. Okay? So the first thing, it establishes that equality and justice for all life form. That's #1. #2, the text tells us reparations of wrongs done to others. That's #2. All life forms being equal in value, all wrongs caused to another life must demand reparation. Therefore, no one should harm her neighbor for the heck of it. No one has the right to harm anyone, nor to create pain and martyr for another person. So, what do we what is the second article? What is it talking about?
Yes, my Bello.
Yes.
Yes, I feel like that kind of deals with really just like really, you know, using from what the creator has given to us in earth, meaning like not killing animals for our consumption. That's how I interpret it personally. And you know, no eye for an eye type of actions where if somebody does to you, you don't have to go back and do evilness to them. You just leave it to the universe.
Be careful. It didn't say leave it to the universe.
Oh, okay. Well,
It says reparation is a must.
oh yes, reparation is a must. So then, whatever has been done to you, karma, in a sense, will give you back the reparations.
Not necessarily.
Or you fight.
Preparation. You have to
Oh,
prepare.
oh, preparations.
Number 2, reparation of wrongs done.
Oh, I heard preparation. I'm sorry. I was writing it too. I thought I heard preparations.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Someone has wronged any other life form, you are required. You see the big difference between African concepts, perceptions. We do not have this perception that there has to be a policeman to police you, and then there has to be some judge to judge the situation, and then there has to be somebody to declare who's wrong and who's right. No. See a text like that? You are the policeman. If I have done you wrong, I have to reach a point where I say, well, Bayyinah, what you did to Ajit is not correct.
Okay, so more so holding people accountable.
Right. We are always accountable. So then I have to take my courage and go to you and say, well, Wajid, I know I did this the other day. That's not correct. What can I do to repair? What can we do so we can step over this hurdle, this obstacle? How do we leave it behind? There's to be something. We have to agree on what. Okay? Nature, the universe will do what it has to do. Maybe what you ask me is more than it should be. Maybe what I'm willing to give is not enough. But we have to take the responsibility to agree to the reparation that we agree to. And then Mother Nature will correct if there's any lackings. You see? But the first thing is that we each are responsible.
So it's like in a sense with the atrocities that was done to us as Africans when we were taken from our home and brought over here, you know, against our will, and now us as Black people, that's why we're fighting for our reparations, and
we should be. We should be clear as to the depth and height of what has been done to us, which will demand reparation to that depth and height. It can't be, we can't say, oh, well, okay, if you give $100 to each one of us, it'll be good. No, I'm sorry. You took me from my land for land. You mistreated so many generations. So I have to demand reparation, not just for me, but for all those who have gone and all those yet to come. Because when we say the nation, in our worldview, the nation is all those who were there before and all those yet to come. So we have to do proper calculation. It's not about who is here now. So you've gone about, you killed 5 million of my people, and today we're reduced to 200 people, and you're going to do reparation for the 200 that are here. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so we have to have the proper way of looking at things and take all the elements into consideration to properly state what is proper reparation for 500 years of misbehaving from these folks.
Well received and understood.
Professor Bello?
Can I?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh,
You're
are you
fine.
sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much.
Go ahead,
Thank
Valerie.
you. Oh, okay. Thank you, Franz and Professor Bello. I just wanted to touch base on that about the reparations, especially when it comes to American history, and not only American history, our history too, with Mundane. So I'm actually reading a book my sister gave me by W.E.B. Du Bois, and one of your colleagues found him to be a great mentor too. And then the book is called The Souls of the Black Folk. And you can see that he speaks about, in the 18th century, about how racism and slavery was, trying to end at that time. And when it was abolished, the reparations were to have the Afro or the Negro get their land, which, to be honest, wasn't really a reparation because they weren't able to get what they wanted back, which was their land, economy, housing, jobs, So reading this book is actually quite interesting and frustrating at the same time, because when you see government thinking that they're going to give us reparations on what they decide to give us, on what they choose, oh, here you guys go, this will be good for you, you're free now, figure it yourself. It was mind-boggling to see this brother write this book, because when he was living in those times, it's just unbelievable how they try to give a ruse, so to speak, on giving you a reparation, and I put that in a quote. So now when I think, when he wrote that in the book, I think of today's reparations, if you will, like housing for the people, people of color, and all these things, the projects that were based, that's what they consider reparations, right? So I can't help but think, not only do we need reparations, not only monetary form, but reparations of everything, re-educating and everything. And I know it's, people have different opinions about it, but when I'm reading the book, I'm like, do they think that's enough, that you give a person like a block and a brick house, and then you just let them, see, oh, how can they figure out how to work, but yet they can't work because there's still tyranny that is still projecting on them, resulting in a hardship where how can you build yourself, when the government feels like, oh, this is what you'll have, this is what your reparations will be. I don't think it's enough, to be honest. And forgive me for speaking fast if no one, caught on to what I was saying, but I totally agree what you're saying, Professor Bello. And at the same time, when I'm hearing reparations, I excuse me for sounding greedy, but I feel like people in Haiti need so much more reparations from everyone else in the world to give back to the country of what they stole, and look what's happening now. There's so many white people I see in the country. I'm like, how are they there? So it's just, that's not the reparations we need. I feel like we need so much more given to the people that was taken so many years ago, and not only money, but education, worth, stuff like that, if that makes any sense. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
You're very welcome. Money is the last thing you want as reparation, because whoever gives you the money will take it right back. If that's what you have, if that's all you have, that's the last thing. We must be more than anything, we must be keenly aware that the enemy has several millenniums of lying, killing, and cheating, and presenting false ideas. Now, if we look back on the reparation 40 acres and a mule. 40 acres and a mule means what? All right, you have 40 acres of land. Would one mule be able to work your 40 acres? No. Number one. Number two, why didn't they give us a donkey? Why didn't they give us horses? If you had a horse and I had a donkey, and you and I were neighbors, our donkey and our horse would get together and produce a mule. Then we would have continuity with the horsepower or the animal power. But when they gave us a mule to each one of us, so it made no difference if we were 2 million acres side by side. After 5, 10, 15 years, whatever number of years the mule will survive, once the mule dies, that's it. 2 mules cannot produce a baby. So once your animal power is dead, then you have your own arms and legs to work your 40 acres. You will surely sell it. And that's why most of the people who had 40 acres, the families received 40 acres and a mule. Where are they today? None of them can say today we are the Chase Manhattan Bank. Today we are the blah, 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 this or that. No. You didn't even have a chance of existing with 40 acres and a mule for more than 10 to 15 years. That was the maximum you could hope for. So we have to not be lured again, not take, in our language we say, suspend pran kaka poule pou be. We take chicken doodoo for butter. Because when they offered you 40 acres and a mule, we should have known that that cannot take us very far. If we had used our mind, if we were not so mesmerized by these criminals who've been presenting all kinds of false things to us for all these years. So it's very, very important analysis. Education is important, but what kind of education? Are we educated when we go to our enemies' schools and get tons of degrees? Is that education? We have to be very careful. The education we need is a freedom fighter's education. It's not in anybody's school. If we've gone to any schools, then we need to go back and create the educational content our people need. We're not gonna find it in the books. The education that our people have today, all of those very highly degreed people who are very proud of their degrees from the enemy schools, they have our people reciting the most ridiculous things. I look at our economists. All economists are writing about what we don't have, what we don't have, what we don't have. Who cares what you don't have? Can you do anything with what you don't have? No, you cannot do anything with that. If you want to do something, what do you need to know? What do you have? Even if it's a needle, you have a needle and 10 grains of rice, that's what you have, then that's what you're gonna start building with. But if you give me a long list of what I don't have, you are making sure that I cannot conceive of tomorrow. So here we have people who have MBAs, who have PhDs in economics, they have this, they have that, but yet they go straight down the road that the education received has brought on. In fact, it's a conditioning, but they call it education. And they make lists of what we don't have. An interesting example, IT, yes. We have IT and the Dominican Republic on the same island, right? The Dominican Republic has thousands and thousands of deaths from the disease. Haiti, they had the World Bank, World Health Organization, had announced in March that Haiti would have no less than 50,000 dead in the streets. Frightened the people to death. But March went by, nothing. Then they announced it will be, they said 25,000 for March. Then they said 50,000 in April. April went by and nothing. And then they said in May, well, we have to look at it's because it's a very mild strain of the disease that came to Haiti. That's why we're not seeing all the dead. Anyway, when everything was said and done, Haiti never had more than a couple hundred deaths, while they're counting tens of thousands next door. Why? And then in July, the World Health Organization said, Haiti is champion. 3 countries are the best in dealing with the sickness. Haiti is number 1, France is 2, I don't know who, and then Germany, I think, is 3rd. And it made me laugh. I said, look how these tricksters work. They announced all that they announced, none of it happened. Now they declare we champion. Champion how? We have no hospitals. We don't have medicine. We don't have any of the stuff that one would think if you are champion in dealing with a sickness, you have a whole, we don't have any of all that. How come we're champion? How come our neighbor next door, same climate, same everything, and yet look all the dead there and look what happened. They also have better structure. So, they have good hospitals, they have great doctors, they have plenty of medicine. They have all these dead. What's the problem? Well, I have come to, after analysis, I've come to know, as I read more and more, and all the so-called experts talk about the disease, it's not the disease that does anything to you, it is what your state, your health situation is. And so, obviously, Haitians are in much better shape than a lot of countries that pretend to be tip-top in everything. We eat natural foods. We have a lot of sour lemon, sour orange, all these things are astringents and forgot the words. Anyway, we have a natural culinary, a natural way of eating that builds our immune system. And that's the real reason nothing happened here like they wanted to. But looking at our neighbors have plenty of McDonald's, fast foods. They eat like other folks because they're very advanced. Well, I look at our brothers and sisters in America, our African brothers and sisters in America, same thing. You eat a lot of fast food, you eat a lot of things that are not healthy, that do not build your immune system. Plenty of you were taken away, unfortunately. So, what's really one is to do to keep yourself healthy? Choose what you put in your mouth. Build your immune system. And I said it when we first started here, purple onion, lime, ginger, those are the immune system builders. Make them part of your everyday eating. If you don't grate the ginger in your chicken or your fish, make some tea, make some ginger tea at night. Eat the raw onion. That's the very best thing to give a great booster to yourself. So anyway, important thing, we have to be on our P's and Q's. Just because somebody say they want to give you this, don't assume it's the best thing that you should have. Always be clear on what you want and where our collective best interest lies. The key word is collective best interests. Our nation is made of those who are dead, those yet to come, and ourselves. We're not it. If we think in those terms, we could do better planning and organizing. So if we return to our text, the next article says, family spirit and the importance of education. Family spirit and the importance of education. Each must watch out for his neighbor. Each must venerate those who gave them life. Each must educate his, her children. Each must provide the needs of all the members of the family. Family spirit and the importance of education. So, does that mean I'm only responsible for myself? No. My neighbor is my responsibility too. Those who've gone before us, those who are yet to come, we must work with them in mind so we don't sell ourselves short. And education is our responsibility, not somebody else's. We can't ask people to do the right education for African American if they're not African Americans. Okay? It's our responsibility. We have to figure it out. And the last one that we'll look at today, love of one's nation, that everyone looks out for and secures the land of their fathers. Because every country or land that will see its humans disappear from the land, the nation will decline and become desolate. So, do we understand that it doesn't matter that we live here in Haiti, in America, in Cuba, we have responsibilities towards Africa. That's the land of our fathers. That's the land of our mothers. We have responsibility towards that land. We don't have to be on the continent to be responsible for the continent. Just like we're responsible for all those who've gone before us, all those who will come after us. It's a must. So, what do you say about that part? We'll go right into the QA right on there.
All right, very good. So we do have a few hands up from the previous 1 and 2 articles of the charter that we didn't get to. So let's go to Wahid. Wahid, go ahead and unmute. Ask a question, please.
I can actually, that was Faye's question. She stepped out. She'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. We'll get back to you.
Okay.
Another question. Byron. Byron, go ahead and unmute. Ask a question, please.
All right. So I understand that it's our responsibility to demand reparation and to understand what those demands are for reparation, and it's also insane for us to ever allow the perpetrators of our enslavement to set the terms for how they will make amends for the evil that they've done. My question would be, just based on the history and understanding of those perpetrators, who I would imagine would be unwilling to make reparations. One, what steps do we take as far as, once we know and understand our demands and make these demands known, and don't receive the reparations for our demand, what role then do we have outside of making that demand to ensure that reparations are granted? And also, just understanding, like you said, money is not a form of reparation. When we understand that we didn't just have money stolen from our land, we've had murders, rapes, we've had some terrible things done to us, medical experimentation. It's pretty disturbing to think about. So how much is vengeance a part of reparation for the wrongs that was done to us? Is that something that African people believe in as well? Because I understand we are people who are the image of the divine, and we're close to the divine, so we had a spirit of love. But also, I mean, understanding reparations is required, and those reparations can mean a lot of things. Some stuff can't just be repaid in money, in land. So how do we go about that?
Okay, step number one is you, not your enemy. If you, for example, were right now, I'm the enemy and you are you, and you come here and you say, well, what do we do? Well, I think you're already lost because you're not clear on what you want. You're not certain of what you're supposed to get. So we have to do, before we talk about going, remember I tell you many times, this is a beast that has several millenniums of committing crimes, stealing. What he's doing, he has been doing for a long time. He has a lot of experience. So if you're gonna go in front of him, facing him, you have to build that. You can't show up with a hesitation, with wondering, with not being certain about things. If that's the way you are, no need going there. You will be eaten. You are his favorite meal. So we have to build ourselves before we can do anything in front of anyone. We have to, first of all, we assess. We know that he has tremendous experience in lying, cheating, presenting things, false ideas, putting people into illusionary states. We know all this. We have to know it. We have to be for real. Now, do you have inside of you what it takes to go in front of that beast and say your piece and get what you want? You have to practice. You have to work at it. It doesn't happen. It does not just occur. Oh yeah, everybody chose me. They say, okay, Bayyinah, you go represent us. If they choose me, I have to go to a few days of meditation and a lot of hard work to see what kind of insight Bayyinah has. Can she take everything that beast will be throwing at her? Is she armed with the lives of all those who went before her? Is my Dessalines well up? Is my Sojourner Truth up? Is my Tontoya up? Are all these children that were killed for no reason, are they there? All those who were thrown into the ocean, are they present in me? So when I speak with the strength of all those who went before me. If I don't have that, then sit down, put yourself aside by now. You're not qualified. You're not ready for this fight. Okay? These are things that you prepare. You don't prepare them for 2 days and jump up. No. You don't prepare them right after marching, Black Lives Matters. No. It takes years of preparation to be able to do this kind of work. What have you read? Have you read The Art of War? The Art of War by Tidika Kilimanjaro? Oh yeah, I read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Oh yeah, that's fine. It's fine for them Asians. But do you know how you should prepare for what's in front of you? See, so these are the things we have to deal with. If we are serious, we know that the day is coming, the day of reckoning is not far, but we have to be prepared. It's not just wait and wish it. If I spend 2 years wishing, and then when the day comes, somebody says, okay, Bayyinah, you go, I'll be useless. I won't even be an appetizer. I'll be eating so fast. Next thing you know, Bayyinah comes, yeah, he gave me a car and I have 2 nice houses and some money in the bank and I'm all set. You people, you know, work out your problem. Happens all the time. We have to prepare and prepare seriously. You have to do like Muhammad Ali would do when he's going in the ring. Day and night, you're preparing mentally, spiritually, physically. You don't go into these arenas naked with nice little thoughts about yourself and say, okay, yeah, after the meeting, I'll go see my girlfriend. No, girlfriend is dead. Mom, dad, friends are dead when you're preparing for that kind of thing. Nothing exists. See? So that's the kind of seriousness we need to put if we're going to talk about reparation. See, a text like this text is a good place to start because here we capturing the thought of a family member who thought about reparation so many 100 years prior to us. So by reading and rereading his text, I will put into myself some of the strength that is necessary from way back then. When I think of all those of my family that they threw down the ocean, that they fed to the sharks, those things should make me stronger, should prepare me. I have to face up, not be teary-eyed. Oh my goodness, you imagine they castrated over 1 million Black men. No, if that's the way you see it, you're not ready. You're not using it in the right way. You have to feel you have been castrated and you have the strength of all the castrated brothers in your body. That's how we prepare for things like that. Then we will have the right words, the right repartee when we're talking about these things. Yeah. But also, yeah, what you put in your body, how you eat. You can't be preparing for this and going to some, what they call these foods, fast food place. You know, we're having a big meeting about reparation. Oh, send for a couple of hamburgers and a Coke. Please. No. Forget about reparation. Let's have the burger and a Coke and, you know, let's not talk about reparation. You're not ready for that. Okay? There are foods that you have to eat to prepare you for everything you have to do. There are things that you must drink to prepare you for whatever you have to do. And you have to learn all of that. You have to learn to be you. Because when you're going to be across from him, if you're not 100% yourself, okay, you've gone to his church, you've gone to his school, his primary school, his secondary school, his university. So when he is across from you, how much of him is in you? Inside of you, he has more sympathy than you do inside of yourself. Because all the stuff of all of his stuff in you sympathizes with him and will quickly see the logic in what he says and have major problem with what you're saying. Your inner self will be against you. So we have to be serious. We have to prepare. We have to learn to do with and to do without. That's why fasting is an important tool. So you're going to debate something as important and you're in the room and they come in with coffee and tea and some nice stuff they know you like to eat. And you jumping on the tray and taking. And you come here threatening this beast privileges. If you don't know how to say no, how to keep from taking the thing you most, oh, that's my favorite cake. Yeah, but not today. Today I hate it. Let's go. It's not by chance that he puts your favorite cake there. It's not by chance that all the women serving look exactly like your favorite kind of girls. Everything is thought of. This is war. Now, did you prepare on every level for this war? All right, so you have an idea now?
I know I have an idea. My eyes are wide open right now.
Yes.
Wow, that was very powerful, Mom. Okay, all right, so let's go back to our Q&A. Thanks for that question, Byron. That
France, we're ready.
provided an amazing answer. Let's see. Let's go back to Wahid and Faye. Yes, Faye is back.
I'm back. Are we on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm on fire from
Great.
everything Sister Bello just said. So.
Now you're on mute.
Okay.
Okay, can I come back? Can I come back now? My question, I wanted to go back to the number one part of the charter, respect for life. So forget what I just said about slapping someone. The question is, what do, I'm not sure how to word this. How is our interaction with our oppressors? How should we govern our interaction with our oppressors on a daily basis? You know, policemen and officials and just every, people we bump into on a daily basis that are part of the colonizers and the oppressors. How do we deal with them people?
If you've not prepared for war, then your best strategy in battle is not to fight. You only fight when you've prepared for it. When you left your house, you've been training for the past 6 months. You've eaten the right things. You've done everything you're supposed to do spiritually, physically, mentally. And you say, okay, today I'm going into the street to take care of business. Then yes. But if I'm just little old Bayyinah who's been working, sitting here too long on the fuck of a computer, well, eating pretty decent food, okay, but not the strict diet of a warrior. That's not what I've been doing. So if I'm going outside and I see down the street, there might be, I just go right back into my house. That's what I do. That's what smart people do. You don't bring yourself as meal for a beast. Okay? You fight when you left your house knowing you're going to fight and you're properly armed. That's when you fight. Otherwise, you don't want to have nothing to do with no beast. Let them be. Let them eat each other if they like.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Let's see. I'm not trying to be a meal for anybody because this beast has been beasting for centuries. So if we're not properly trained and disciplined, then just like you said, Professor, we're just presenting ourselves as a meal. So, all right, let's see. Next question comes from Valerie. Valerie, go ahead, unmute yourself, ask your question, please.
Hi again. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to speak. And I also agree, I do not want to become a male as well. And I had a question in regards to the charter in reference to the spirit of family. And the question, excuse me if I run this along and then make it like a run-on sentence. Basically, my question is that how do you continue to try to tap in yourself with meditation and everything like that spiritually to become free, but yet you realize immediate families aren't free or not at the same level as you are? And basically, the question is, I don't want to say, so let me just tell you the question. Do you drop your family members that don't want to tap into what the greatness of what our ancestors provided to us, or do we continue to fight, which for me also goes with tyranny never sleeps? Because I'm one of the people of many that unfortunately when my family came to this, excuse my language, S-hole country, America, everything dissipated of the knowledge of what they've inherited from their beautiful family. So when we were growing up, my sisters and I'm honored that my father, even though as crazy as he is, he always loved the music. And so we always grew up listening and everything like that. But unfortunately, as we came to adulthood, the lack of understanding, mindfulness, and pursuit of trying to be free is not existent in most families. So I've seen other Haitian families like myself, you know, being American raised or born here in America, all their families, they disconnect, whether, you know, when it comes to work or whatever passion. So for instance, I know this young woman, in her eyes, she's successful because she was able to accumulate a lot of money and drive a Range Rover. And I said, oh, that's good for you that you did that. So how's your mom thinking? Oh, I don't even talk to her. And I said, what? I was like, you know, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, how, you know, I wasn't trying to judge because I'm a person that does not do that by any means, but I was just concerned and confused on how do you allow yourself to have that stature but leave your mom behind. So, and then I understood because I have immediate family members like that, but yet the way my family members are, you know, there's something in me and I feel like it's the ancestors. And then previous Zoom meetings ago, Professor Bayyinah, you were speaking on the strength of women, on how women, especially particular Haitian women, could do so much without one help of a man, but yet the man, you know, is treated like a king. He doesn't even do nothing, lift a finger, and then when it's time to do the family, he doesn't do it. And so that's something I've experienced. So I was always having a cross battle of, do I just drop, you know, the immediate family because they're not getting it, they're not understanding me. They keep saying Creole, oh, vava upa kiswa dzimla ufu. They always say vava fuwe, you know, and that's something that I have to always hear, and it frustrates me because I'm like, do you know where you come from, the greatness of land, and then you don't want to tap into it? So it frustrates me. It makes me want to drop them, but I can't. Something in me, I know my ancestors are saying this, still do it and be patient. And then you as well, Professor Bayyinah, you're everything to me. Everyone, I'm just so honored that my divine God gave me the strength to even say this to you guys. The fact that I have to find out within, and that is the biggest tyranny that never sleeps within myself. And then the truth of being in constant pursuit. And when the charter said that the spirit of family, and then the neighbor, I can't be on a level leaving my family or seeing a woman of my friend struggling with groceries, you know? So I just wanted to ask back to the question, do you drop those people or do you continue to help them? And thank you for your time.
Thank you for the question. It's not, life is not do or die situation. I believe I've said that before. When we answer a question, Franz asked me to marry him. And say, well, either you're gonna say yes or no, but it's not just that. I could say, what? How dare you? I'm 30 years older than you. How dare you talk to me about that? That's a no, but that's an ugly no. I could also say, well, we'll look into this. Take your time. We'll see, blah, blah, blah. I could do there many ways. I have 180 possibilities as to how to say no, and 180 possibilities as to how to say yes. Because in our worldview, when you're at the center of anything, you are in a circle. And a circle is 360 degrees. So when the first thing comes to you, oh yes, that's even your yes can be tapered, measured. Look how Marie-Claire Rose did it when Dessalines asked her to marry him. She says, well, marriage has a way of handicapping women with their mission. He says, no, not me, blah, 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 blah. He asks again, he asks her. She says, well, okay, I would consider it if you agree to sign a contract. And I have 4 elements to this contract. Dessalines said, all right, let's see them. So she gave her 4 conditions. He didn't find any of them offensive. Says, all right, fine, I'll sign. And they got married. But you see, it wasn't, oh, the great Dessalines is asking me to marry. Oh, yes. No. She was clear, she reflected, and she chose. All right, and she saw his shortcomings. Yeah, he had 7 children all over the place that he didn't mind. He says, if you want to marry me, then you have to collect all your children and take them to the notary and recognize them. Make it legal that they are your children. Sure, you have to give the mothers the means to raise those children properly. Okay, that will come out of what I will give to you. She says, it's all right. Those children, that's us tomorrow. Nobody ever think that Claire Rose didn't have any children. Every child who's Dessalines' child is always assumed to be Claire Rose's child. Smart woman, and a woman with vision. So that's what it is. When you put yourself in your own worldview, no matter what, you at the center of the circle, you have 180 possibilities of yes, 180 possibilities of no's. Make the right choice. Don't jump into things. Don't do things out of spite. Don't do things because, no. Take your time, do it right. There is in the art of war, they say that the best victory is the battle that you avoid. There are a lot of wasted battles. So when it comes to our family members, they are our family. No matter what we say, they're still part of us. So we may as well live with them. You have to make a choice at a certain moment. My mother was a devout Christian, became a devout Christian at one point. And it was almost impossible for us to speak. Well, she's my mother. So when I go to see her, I would dress a certain way that would make her feel comfortable. The only thing, I'm not going to not wear African clothing. That I will. But I will wear something that's less annoying to her. And whatever she says, be fine. I'm not going to argue with her. She's older than me. She's all set in what she's doing. There is no way I can change her. So leave her alone. It's not for me to change her. Okay? So those are the things we have to learn to do. There are battles that you will fight. There are the other battles, you don't want to see them. It's waste of energy. You want to save that energy for the real battles that you have to fight. Okay? Somebody who's attached to things, let them be. Let them enjoy, and you too enjoy. They have a nice car. Good, give me a ride. Oh, I love it. Your car is beautiful. That's it. That's where she's at right now. But wait, there is going to be a day where she will no longer have the scar. Something happens, things have changed. And then she comes to you, so, oh, you see in what state I'm? Then you want to help her. She will have ears to listen to you then. That's when you will talk to her about other possibilities, now that this is no longer a possibility for her. But while it is her two eyes, please leave her alone. Don't try to convince her into town. Let her be. And if you're smart, you take advantage. Yeah, whenever you need a ride, go in the nice Range Rover. Why not? A car is a car is a car. It just takes you someplace. But if she wants to feel that driving this car is the world to her, let her be. Don't argue over nothing. These are not things that, make sure when you do talk to someone, you feel there is a chance of bringing something in. Otherwise, let the person be. There's enough sadness around the world. Don't create more than there is necessary. Okay, Valerie?
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to hear that. It really just hit me so hard, and I'm not trying to cry or anything, but that is something definitely worth tapping into and, you know, pursuing to do. So definitely, thank you so much. I'm truly honored.
You're very welcome.
All right, great. Thank you, Valerie, for your question. Next question comes from Wajit Offset. Melanie, go ahead and unmute, ask a question, please.
Yes, yes. That was great, Valerie, that question. It definitely resonated with me as well. I definitely hear where you're coming from with that. And I just had a question more on so the things we should be putting in our bodies for battle, for protecting ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, and things. I just want to know, would it be more beneficial, I mean, in your opinion, for us to take on more of a plant-based lifestyle? Do you think, in order to protect ourselves and be, like, say, be more so vegan than to eat things, well, of course, not eating any sort of processed foods or outside food, but, you know, give up more of like flesh foods and just mainly stick to things from the earth, or follow the diets of our ancestors? Is that more along the lines where we should be heading, or just follow what's in our hearts? Like, how extreme do you feel we should be? How strict should our diets be for war?
You have to be you and be honest with you. Okay? Absolutely, we know the processed food is poison. So that's not a debate. But if somebody, you know, maybe someone else, you know, is just not able to, you know, they have to do what they have to do, what they can do for now. Maybe the person who is in January is unable to give up processed food, and you find them in August talking about processed food like they never put that in their mouth. And if they do, it's not your role to say, oh, I remember when you were eating that. No, if they've reached that, let them be there. That's great. Now, each one of us have to make a decision for ourselves. All of us are not warriors. Some of us are more advanced in the warrior road than others. So each one of us will have to take decisions. But general guidelines are this. We're living in a very poisonous society. The air, the water, the food is poison. So that means we need a lot of cleanup. We need to regularly think in terms of cleansing ourselves, both physically, exteriorly, and interiorly. Okay, so on the exterior, the easiest thing is to always have some baking soda that you could put in the water that you bathe with. It's a fabulous cleanser. A handful of soda for a bucket full of water, something like that. You know, once a week is a good rhythm for cleansing. We could take teas like parsley tea. You boil the water, pour over the leaves for blood cleansing once a month. A day without food is it's excellent for you, not only for physically, that you give your system a chance to really empty the digestive thing everything is gone and out. You drink plenty of water, and so you cleanse the digestive system. But it's also very good for self-control, that you can decide, okay, Tuesday, I'm not putting anything in my mouth, just water, and that you can do it. You see, so being able to determine what you're going to do. Once a month, I want to see if I could work 24 hours. I get up at 4 and I work until about 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So I'm testing my ability to do what I say. You know, you could start little. You start by, you usually go to bed at 9 and then say, okay, I'm gonna push it to midnight. I'm gonna push it to 1 a.m. I'm gonna push it to 2. But you can see that you can make your body agree with your mind. When your mind and your mouth says something, then the body follows. So self-control is really one of the most important things for a warrior. We have a song in Vodum that says, Feuille nan bois, si posé. Feuille nan bois, si posé, l'ennemi barre moi. Feuille nan bois, wa sauve moi. So it means we're talking to the leaves on the tree. The leaves, let us suppose that the enemy caught up with me. You, leaves on the tree, I know you will save me. So this is saying what? You have developed a relationship with your environment, including the leaf, that if you were in a difficult situation, you know that the leaf would be in a position. How can the leaf, very practical. Somebody's running after you and you hiding in the bush, you hiding in whatever, among leaves and trees and stuff. If the leaves is in your corner, when they're passing by where you at, the leaves not gonna make no noise, no matter what the wind does. So they'll pass and keep looking for you wherever. But if they're not in your corner, the leaves exactly where you are, and they turn around and aha, they get you. So it's your relationship with nature is very important when you, as a warrior, because you're gonna be in space. You can't be out of space. So the trees in your yard, the flowers, the leaves, have you developed a relationship? Do you say good morning to them like you say good morning to other people? Do you have the kind of relationship that if something was to happen, that you would be protected by them? They would recognize you as a family member because you've always treated them as a family member with the proper respect due to them. Okay, so it's a general mindset more than I have to eat this and I have to eat that. That will come too, but you have to first have the mindset. See, then when you're in the right setting, in the proper training, then you get the other things that certain oils that you'll put on your body, certain things that you eat, the things that you drink. But first, the mind has to be properly established. And to Sister Faye, who was asking a little while about those things in uniform, Well, there are times where you just want to have the power for them not to see you. That's the battle. The battle is for you to go by totally. One time, I was coming home, and these people with siren cars, some big time authority in the street, and they're saying to everybody, get off the street, let the car, some big somebody pass by. I didn't feel like crawling up on the sidewalks and whatnot. So when the guy came to me and said, lady, didn't you hear, get your car out the way? I said, oh, but I don't know how to do that. If you want, I'll give you the key. You could do it for me. So he sees this stupid old woman who can't even get her car on the sidewalk. So in the end, they left me alone and they went about their business. But I know another Bayyinah would have said, I'm not getting off the street. Street is not for you. Hey, no. That wasn't the minute for that. Okay, so you have to judge every situation, and every situation have its own what is required in that situation. Okay, but cleansing and having self-control. When you can say to yourself, I'm not eating, even if you're going to a reception, no matter what food, your favorite, everything is there, you're not touching it. You have to give yourself this discipline. You eat and you drink when you choose to, not when food is present.
Very well received. I know that's something I struggled with before, so I definitely feel that. Would you suggest, say, bay leaf and cinnamon as well, like boiling that in water?
Boiling cinnamon, yes. The leaves, generally boil the water and pour over the leaves. Don't boil the leaves.
Don't boil the bay leaf?
No, don't boil them. If you're making tea with it, boil the water, pour it over the leaves.
Oh, okay.
Infusion, okay? But if you're cooking with it, then no problem. You could put the bay leaf in your whatever you're cooking, and it's excellent. It's good for memory. It's very good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Ma Bello. Well received.
You're welcome.
All right, so we have 10 minutes to go. Man, this has been awesome. So let me just take the last question. Last question for this session comes from Kobe Anim. So go ahead, unmute yourself, Kobe, and ask a question, please.
Hi, Franz. Hi, Ma Bella. Charlene. Actually, Kobe's my son.
Oh, okay. All right.
Greetings. Greetings. I have two quick questions. One, I come to know now that everything has a spirit, whether it's moving or non-moving, according to our eyes, like stones, rocks, the trees, the animals. Is there a way to like tune in and sense the energies of those things? Like I would touch a tree and stuff, but I don't like feel anything yet. So I'm like, maybe I'm not there.
Well, take the time, take the patience. Keep practicing. Practice makes perfect.
Okay.
Remember that you were raised the first maybe 20, 25 years of your life. You didn't think this thing was anything. So it's going to take time for you to change, for things to change in your inner self, and then for you to be able to have an exchange, a communication with, especially receiving from them.
Great, thank you. And my next question is regarding, regards for life. Like I was thinking about creatures like mosquitoes and mice and roaches. Like we kind of see those like, they're in the way. How do we still respect their life, but have the peace of mind of not,
It's a major question. We live with it every day. They have rights too. No matter what, every living form has rights. And so one of the way what I apply is what we do in Vadum. When we have to use an animal for whatever, for a sacrifice, for whatever reason, then there are rules as to what you do and how you do it. See, if we're going to use a chicken or a pigeon for something, then you have to take this animal, you have to bathe the animal, you have to perfume it, you have to talk to it and explain to it why you're going to use its life in order to get this or that done in the life of the community. Because ultimately, don't be spooky about things. Every life form lives off another life form. So you can say, oh no, I don't want to touch the animals because I respect da. But then you eat the tomato, you eat the lettuce, you eat the cereal. So you're always eating some life form. There is no one that exists that doesn't eat a form of life. That's the reality. You know, it's not just animal is blah, 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 but all the vegetables are alive. The leaves is alive. So we have to be, there's a protocol for everything that we have to do. And that's what we need to learn. What's the proper protocol for it? Okay. I have pigeons here in the yard. I have all kinds of animals, well, mostly birds and stuff. So right this year, this is the first year I'm having this problem with the pigeons coming into the house. So we're forever fighting. I tell them the yard is for you, the house inside is not for you. You're not invited here. And it's a big struggle because that's the first year in all the years I've been here, they've never entered the house. But I also know if they're doing that, there's something they're trying to tell me that I don't understand yet. So I have to figure that out before I can really do anything about convincing them not to enter the house anymore. See, so every life form has a message. So probably my communication with pigeons is not very, obviously, my communication with pigeon is not very well advanced. It's not like with chicken or roosters or other animals that I know better. You see, even with lizards, when I first came to this house 20 some odd years ago, lizards were all over the house. You sit on a chair, you jump up, you know, lizard. And so I went through a whole process, about a year and a half. And in the end, I decided to have a contract with them. I took large pieces of paper and wrote that they did not have the right to come into the house, that they had every right in their yard, but no rights inside. I put at each door on the floor. Every morning I'd put it and I said, and when I see one, I say, you sign the contract. You don't have rights to come in here. But, you know, I don't have them in the house anymore, but there's still plenty of them in the yard. So we have to work at it and develop the communication. It doesn't come instantaneously. Not the day you understand it and this is it. But there's work and there's protocol. Everything has a protocol as to how to do it. We have to learn it. We have to figure it out.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Princess.
All right, fantastic. So I believe that was the last question, and it is almost 3 p.m. So go ahead and I want you to share some final words with us, Ma.
Thank you, Franz. I will not stop saying thank you to you, each one of you who've been with us today and who've been with us so many Thursdays. We really, really appreciate your presence, your energy, your questions, everything that you do. And we are debating, we've thought about, do we continue? How do we improve it? If we continue it, then we have to improve it. Remember, we talked about creating a community, and we're still working at that. Many of you filled out the forms. Now we have to send back the form to you with what we will, what the result of what we want to do. And so all of this is work, and it asks for each one of us to put our thoughts in. It's important for us to continue to exchange. If we really want to keep this community alive, then there has to be exchange between us. When you have an idea, put it on an email, on a WhatsApp, on something. You have all the ways of communicating with us. So contact us and let us have the proper exchange. So thank you to all those who asked questions today, especially to those warriors ready to go. We don't want you to be wasted. You have to prepare. No warrior step out. That person in blue that you see in the street, he has gun practice, exercise practice, everything that he does, even how to walk. He learned how to walk a certain way so that when you see him, you know he's some kind of authority coming here. So the way he talks to you, everything he has learned. You, if you've not learned, you've not practiced anything, don't you put yourself in front of him. Don't you have him eat you, you know? So please, we want you to be alive. We want you to be well. We want you to be ready. Ultimately, we may have to put our army together. We want you to be ready for that. But you have to prepare. If it's not a soldier here, this don't make you a soldier. Got to create the soldier here, the warrior here, the defender of the nation here. And discipline is the first step to everything. Without discipline, there is nothing. There's no army, there's no nation, there's no community. So we have to work hard at having the self-control, the discipline that is necessary for us to carry out what we have to do. So please take good care of yourselves, purify yourself, body and soul, prepare. Don't be caught unprepared, no matter what. If you've seen it happen to one person, then you say to yourself, how would I handle it if it was me? So you have to prepare for every situation. Be prepared. And till next time, till the next position, take good care of yourselves. Remember, the divine lives in you. Don't ever forget it. The divine lives in you. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Professor Bayyinah Bello, for your words and wisdom and knowledge and everything you shared with us this afternoon. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on another session of Bayyinah and Friends. We are going to sign off until next week. So everyone, peace, blessings, and we'll see you next Thursday. All right.
Abundant blessings.
Thank you.
Love your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace and blessings. Many thanks to everyone for all your words. Everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for the knowledge, as always.
Thanks a lot to each one of you. That's what you bring out of me. It's not me.
Well,
Bring it
truly
around.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, guys. Have a great
Bye.
weekend. See you next week. Take care.
God willing. Bye, Mama Bella. Bye, friends.
Take good care. Stay strong.